if it's powerful enough to fight bipolar disorder, it is powerful enough to potentially have interactions. One of the things that I'm always fascinated about in the bipolar community is when we say things like, hey, this thing is so powerful, it will treat bipolar disorder, which we know to be dangerous and damaging. But it also is so safe that it won't cause any side effects or interfere with any other medications or any other organs or anything else. Like it can't be both.
You're listening to Inside Bipolar, a Healthline Media podcast, where we tackle bipolar disorder using real-world examples and the latest research.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the podcast. My name is Gabe Howard, and I live with bipolar disorder.
And I'm Dr. Nicole Washington, a board-certified psychiatrist.
And we continue to get all of your emails, and we are so thankful for them. Please, if you have any questions, show topics, ideas, or you just want to complain, hit us up at show@psychcentral.com. We absolutely appreciate your topic suggestions. They do inform what we do on the show. And one of the things that we've been getting a lot of emails about, and we've seen a lot on social media and even other articles like on Healthline and Psych Central, is fish oil as a treatment and or cure for bipolar disorder. Now, at first, I was just like, well, it's a supplement that's supposed to treat or cure bipolar disorder. I just kind of rolled my eyes at it, but it's reached sort of a critical mass. We're getting emails about it, Dr. Nicole. So I thought, well, let's go ahead and make it a topic.
So do you think that people, like the general John Q. public, thinks that fish oil is a treatment for bipolar disorder?
When I think of the general public, no. I think that the general public thinks that only hardcore, very serious pharmaceuticals, like pharmaceutical grade, ultra high end, powerful drugs are the only thing that can treat bipolar disorder, which I want to point out is also inaccurate. But I think people in the bipolar community are always looking for that natural remedy, always looking for things outside of medication. And I think that they do believe, we, the people with bipolar disorder, we want to believe that, hey, we can get away from the billion-dollar pharmaceutical industry by taking pills from the billion-dollar supplement industry. And in this way, we have improved. So I think there is a lot of misunderstanding out there.
Okay. So maybe we start by talking about when we say treatment, like what exactly does that mean? Are we saying that we think that fish oil is appropriate as a monotherapy for treatment of bipolar disorder?
See, you're using like doctor words when you say monotherapy.
Oh, excuse me. Are we saying that fish oil is going to be the sole medication for someone who has bipolar disorder?
I do believe that many people in the bipolar community do believe that if they take fish oil, it will provide them a relief from some of the symptoms of bipolar disorder. It will help maintain their moods. It will make them better. Now, whether or not they see that as a sole treatment, whether or not they see that as a cure, whether or not they do it in conjunction with other things, that's all over the map. But one thing that does seem to be certain is there is a subset of people that are like, hey, why am I taking these drugs when I could take this supplement instead? And I want to like be clear, Dr. Nicole, just to make sure we're all on the same page. I don't think that's a bad question to ask. If you believe there are less side effects in this treatment than another treatment, I think that's a really good thing, and you're firing on all brain cells. The problem is it's not quite that straightforward. For example, not all supplements are created equal, whereas all pharmaceuticals are FDA insured to be the same. And we can get into that in a minute. But to answer your question, I know I went off on a little tangent there. Shock. But to answer your question, yes, I do think there are people living with bipolar disorder that think that fish oil is a treatment, if not a cure, for bipolar disorder.
Okay. I mean, I can absolutely see why a person living with bipolar disorder would want that to be true.
Of course.
If I had a disorder like bipolar disorder, I would absolutely want to believe and want it to be true that I could take something like fish oil that doesn't come with all of the big, bad, ugly side effects that we see with the mood stabilizers and the antipsychotics and all the medications that we give for bipolar disorder. I mean, I definitely understand that. And I agree with you. There is nothing wrong with asking the question. It's a great question to ask. I love when patients come in and say, hey, I was reading this article about fish oil as a treatment for bipolar disorder. I'm like, okay, so let's talk about why that was appealing to you. Let's talk about kind of some of the pitfalls with that as a statement, and then let's move forward. I love the question.
I'm glad we're on the same page, Dr. Nicole. I love that people ask the question, but I do get, I need a really good word here. Like I get a little miffed or concerned, or I get a little sad that people think that doing your own research means convincing yourself that you were right all along. Research is open-ended. You are doing the research and the outcome is unclear, and the outcome will be determined by said research. So if you're listening to this podcast to be reassured that you are already right, well, if you agree with everything we say, I guess you're going to be okay. But that's not how research works. So I know that we're in the culture of I did my own research, which really meant I watched one video that told me what I wanted to hear, declared that source to be omnipotent, and went forward saying, oh, my doctor's an idiot who's in the pocket of fill in whatever villain we have this week. So as we talk about all of this, I just want people to keep an open mind. There is some good science out there about the benefits of omega-3s, even for bipolar, but I'm going to nip this in the bud. It's not a cure and it's not a frontline treatment. Dr. Nicole, do you have people who are living well with bipolar disorder utilizing omega-3s and fish oil as their sole, what would you call it? An omni treatment?
An omni treatment. Monotherapy.
Do you have anybody who is successfully managing bipolar disorder in the long term using just fish oil?
No, period.
Do you think it's possible?
No, I do not. I do not think it's possible. I do not have anybody who is using just omega-3s. I do have a lot of people who take omega-3s as a part of their regimen for a lot of reasons. Most people I know are not taking omega-3s just because they have bipolar disorder. When you start looking at all of the evidence out there to support why they could be helpful, there's a lot of reasons a person could benefit from them. But I do not have anyone who has been able to successfully treat their bipolar disorder with omega-3s.
I want to disclose to you and the audience, Dr. Nicole, that I take fish oil. I take omega-3s. Okay. And I take it largely for its anti-aging properties. There's a lot of good research to show that it slows down aging. And there's a lot of good research to show that it makes my skin beautiful. It just makes me glow. And there's a lot of good research to show that it can help with mental health things like depression, etc. That's really secondary to me. I'm really taking it because I tend to be vitamin deficient because of other health issues, and supplementing with these omega-3s seems like a good idea. Now, that said, even my reason for taking it, the data's sketchy. The data doesn't say take omega-3s and you won't age. It says may help with the aging process. Small studies have shown that it can improve elasticity in your skin. It's all very... I don't want to say woo because it's not made up out of whole cloth, but the data is new and we won't know for many generations how this is going to work out. Can you fill this in from a medical perspective, Dr. Nicole?
You know, omega-3s are important. Okay. They're very important. They literally every cell in your body covered by these omega-3 fatty acids. Right. So they're important. And we see them play a role in a lot of different functions in the body. So we're doing a lot of leaping here and saying that, oh, well, if this is as vital as it is, and if people aren't getting enough in their diet and they're deficient, it begs to reason that we would then see all these things. Like there are some leaps that are being made. Small leaps. I mean, I don't think it's weird to think that it can improve your eye health when we know that some of these levels can be especially high in the retina. I don't think it's weird to think that, oh, your immune system could be better because we know the role it plays. None of that is a strange leap. But we don't have a lot of data to support it. You're right. A lot of the studies are 30 people, 50 people, 20 people, which is not enough to be able to say with certainty, like, oh, if you do this, then this is what you should expect to see. There's also a lot of other things that go into omega-3s. You can't take omega-3s and still have a really unhealthy diet and expect that your omega-3 supplements are going to outwork your really bad diet. So you can't pop your omega-3s and eat a bag of Doritos every night and expect that, oh, well, these omega-3s aren't helping me in any way at all. My skin still looks terrible. I mean, so it has to come. It has to come with a lot of other parts. There are 3 different omega-3 fatty acids. One of them does mainly come from plants, like your flax seeds, your chia seeds, your canola oils, your soy oils, those kinds of things. And the DHA and EPA, the other 2 types, are created from the ALA, but not in really big numbers. So it is really difficult to get the amount that you need from your diet, especially if you add in the fact that the typical American diet is not a balanced diet with enough of the things that we would need to be able to do that. You throw on top of that, fish isn't always economically feasible for a lot of people. Fish can be expensive. And so people are not, they're not going to the seafood section and saying, oh, give me that salmon over there. I'm going to grill this salmon later. They're eating what they can afford. And it's not always fish like salmon and mackerel and things like this. That's not what people are getting.
And you really said something really powerful there, right? The people are not going and grilling salmon, right? Let's face it. The best fish in the world is fried.
Salmon?
Listen, fried
salmon?
No, not fried salmon. I said fish. But think about fast food chains that specialize in fish. It's not steamed fish. It's not grilled fish. It's fried fish. I think that sometimes we as people, we tend to make this nutritional bargain and we're going to lose every time, right? Eating an apple pie is not the same as eating an apple. And eating fried fish, breaded, batter dipped fried fish, is not going to give you what you need. So I do like the supplement. I like that our body needs it. Again, I take it. So I'm speaking from experience, but I see it as I don't even see it as a secondary treatment. I see it as like a third line health benefit that comes after being stable on medication, going to therapy, learning coping skills, diet and exercise and other lifestyle changes. And then finally we get to, and I take this fish oil supplement because it's shown to have a good outcomes with bipolar disorder, aging, skin care, and overall health. But that's how far down the list it is. I think you hit the nail on the head earlier, Dr. Nicole, when you said the problem is people take this fifth line treatment and move it to a front line, and therein lies the problem. Nobody is denying the benefits of omega-3s.
No.
We're not 100% sure of them. Nobody's trying to get you not to take them. But people are like, I fired my Dr. Nicole. I fired my therapist. I stopped taking all my big pharma drugs because I ain't getting in their pockets. And then I went down to the local gas station and I bought fish oil tablets. And I want to talk about that for a moment.
What gas station do you go to where they're selling fish oil in the gas station?
Gas stations sell supplements now.
What gas station
I didn't just make that up. They do. They sell CBD oil. They sell all kinds of supplements.
I believe they sell CBD. Are they selling fish oil at the gas station, Gabe?
They do. I mean, it's got to be like a convenience store gas station. I mean, I don't want to like name. It's got to be like one that's got like the big convenience stores, that also sells like the milk and the prepared foods. They have a supplement aisle. Well, supplements are a multi-billion-dollar business. But okay, fine. Go to your local grocery chain. The point is your membership clubs, your big grocery stores, your retail outlets. When you buy the vast majority of those fish oil supplements, you don't know what you're getting. They're not FDA approved. They're not beholden to anybody. And they're not even consistent in the same bottle.
Yes.
Research and studies show over and over and over again that every time you pick up that pill and take it, you're taking a different amount. And that's not treatment. That's random.
Yeah. In any supplement, we're specifically talking about omega-3s, but you can make that same statement about any supplement on the market. Supplements are not quality controlled by the FDA like drugs are, like prescription drugs are. They are not scrutinized. So you're right. You may get a bottle of omega-3s this time that has this much ALA, EPA, DHA, and then the next bottle you get might not even be the same amounts. You just have no way of knowing that.
It might not even be fish oil. Let's be clear. It might not be omega-3s at all. It might be primarily fillers. The quality control is really, really, really sketchy, especially on store brand drugs, generic brands, and brands that are known for being inexpensive.
Yes. No, absolutely. And so you have to ask yourself, if there's two brands of fish oil on the shelf and one is $30 and one is $3, what is the $3 bottle doing? Is the $30 bottle just trying to scam you because the bottle's prettier? Are they hustling you out of $27? Or did the $3 bottle do some corner cutting and they're able to give it to you for $3 because, well, maybe they didn't do some of the things that the $30 bottle did. And that's where it gets really confusing and tricky, because we're all trying to save money. But at the same time, if you're going to bother taking a fish oil supplement, you want to at least make sure it's a decent one.
Obviously, if you're using fish oil, omega-3s, to treat anything or to help you with anything or to improve your overall health, you want to make sure that you're actually getting omega-3s. And one of the ways that you can do that is look into things like third-party testing, independent agencies that test these things. Reviews are really important. But reviews from trusted sources, places like Healthline Media, Medical News Today, places that have actually investigated these things and done real, reliable research. For fish oil specifically, there's the International Fish Oil Standards. It's a third-party testing and certification program. If they have certified it, you are getting what you're supposed to get. But of course, all that testing, all that quality control comes at a cost. And that's why your bottles cost more. We just wanted to throw that out there because the number of people who believe that they are taking fish oil that are actually just taking fillers are really, really, really alarming, because there's no regulatory agency for supplements. You know that little thing on the side of the supplement that says these statements have not been evaluated by the FDA? Yeah, these pills have not been evaluated by the FDA, and they are not required by law to be honest. And I can't say it more plainly than that. Supplements are allowed to essentially lie. And I find that like really sketchy.
They definitely take some liberties with the full truth. A lot of times that there's claims that are made that are a little on the iffy side. But if you're taking omega-3s because you have read all of the great benefits and you say, you know what? Not just my bipolar disorder. I want my skin to be popping like Gabe's. I want to get this thing figured out. And you decide that you want to take a supplement. It's obviously because you care about your overall health. So I would encourage you to care enough to at least take one that has in it what it says is on the bottle, right? I mean, there's no point in taking it if it's not going to contain what it is that it says it contains. Those third-party testers are very valuable in this system. A company doesn't have to hire one of them to test their products. They could say, hey, just trust me. I'm reliable. Just trust me. Just trust that it is what I said it is. They could do that. They're well within their right to do that. But the third party is a third party for a reason. It's someone who doesn't work for that particular company. They are independent, that they're going to give their opinion and they're going to present their findings regardless of what that company thinks about their findings. That's what you are looking for. And you would like to think that if a company is at least paying a third party person to test their supplements, it at least keeps them honest.
Dr. Nicole, before we jump into what the research says about the benefits of omega-3s fish oil with bipolar disorder, I want to address just one more thing. And that's it. People want this because they believe that fish oil, omega-3s, they're natural and therefore it's safer and it's better for you. And I want to point out arsenic is natural and it's a poison that kills people. Just because something is natural doesn't automatically make it good for you. All right. Poison ivy. It's a natural plant, but it'll make your skin break out. It can cause lots of issues. Nobody is excited to rub poison ivy on them, but yet we say, oh, well, fish oil is all natural and it's better for me. The next thing people say is, well, fish oil doesn't have side effects. See, the problem is, and you've all heard Dr. Nicole say it, these bipolar medications, the side effects aren't sexy. The side effects aren't sexy. Now, look, omega-3 is safe. Nobody's saying that it's not safe, but it is not side effect free. There is a side effect profile that has come up in clinical trial after clinical trial after clinical trial. Things like, do you want to read the list or do you want me to read it, Dr. Nicole? I feel like I'm taking the doctor thing. There are side effects to omega-3. Stop pretending that it's perfect.
There are side effects to omega-3s.
And we're back discussing fish oil, omega-3s, and the bipolar disorder.
I will 100% say, when you just look at the side effect profile list, it feels very benign compared to the antipsychotic mood stabilizer profile list. So we are thinking about things like bad breath, burping up that fishy taste. It can upset your stomach. You can have some GI upset. So
that's just a nice way to say diarrhea, though. Stop pretending that like GI.
I mean, you can GI, your whole system, right? Like you can have heartburn, you can have reflux, you can be nauseated, you can have diarrhea. That's the whole track. It can affect the whole.
Yeah. Say it
track.
that way so people understand. Oh, I got GI issues. That doesn't sound so bad.
Yeah, it always sounds bad. It always sounds bad.
You're on the toilet. It's awful.
It always sounds bad. But I think it's also important to know that omega-3s can also interact with some of your medications that you might be taking. So even if you decide, oh, I'm going to start taking omega-3s because I read that I should do that for all these great reasons, fantastic reasons, but you still need to talk to your primary care doctor about it. You still need to talk to your psychiatrist about it. And you need to figure out if you are an appropriate candidate to take these supplements in these high doses, because there are some medication categories like NSAIDs. If you have a lot of pain and you take chronic non-steroidal anti-inflammatories on a regular basis, if you've had some kind of condition in the past that requires you to be on blood thinners, you need to have a conversation before you start something like an omega-3. And really any supplement, you need to have a conversation with your doctor, with your team about whether it's safe for you to do that, because supplements can sometimes interact with prescription drugs or interact with conditions that you might have. And you need to be aware of that before you just go start taking omega-3s thinking, oh, this is fine. It's no big deal. It's just fish oil. You need to make sure you have these conversations.
One of the things that I'm always fascinated about in the bipolar community is when we say things like, hey, this thing is so powerful, it will treat bipolar disorder, which we know to be dangerous and damaging. But it also is so safe that it won't cause any side effects or interfere with any other medications or any other organs or anything else. Like it can't be both. If it's powerful enough to fight bipolar disorder, it is powerful enough to potentially have interactions. And that's why you want to work with your Dr. Nicole. And I'm so glad that you said that, Dr. Nicole. We don't want to just quit and start taking fish oil. I mean, first off, okay, well, I'm going to start taking omega-3s to treat bipolar disorder. Okay, how much? Well, I don't know. What's the amount? What the amount is the appropriate amount. Do you know what that amount is? No. See, you still might need a Dr. Nicole to help you with this. All right. It's not magical. I think we've established that to death. But let's talk about the benefits. What has the research shown? Because there is research that shows that it can benefit the symptoms of bipolar disorder. And I'm excited to jump into that.
Absolutely. We have data that suggests that omega-3s can be helpful and have a positive effect on depression. whether that's I have major depressive disorder, whether that's I have bipolar disorder. And I don't know any doctors who would say to you, well, I don't think that's true. I think most of us like the word may. We like may. May is a very, may is good. It may be beneficial. We're not saying with complete 100% certainty that if you take omega-3s that you'll never have another depression episode. We're not saying that it's going to snap you out of an episode, but we know that it may have a positive effect on depression. I did not say it's going to pull you out of a depression episode. There is zero evidence to suggest that if you are in the middle of a major depressive episode, that omega-3s are going to pull you out of that episode and drag you into a remission. That is not what we're saying.
And the specific quote, Dr. Nicole, from Harvard Health, who did a lot of these research studies, says that potentially adding omega-3s could ease depressive symptoms of bipolar disorder for some. That's not a guarantee. It's a lot less for what people say in support groups. Hey, did you know that omega-3s prevent depression? The study never said that.
That's so vague.
May ease symptoms of. Difference, huge difference.
So vague. Well, because that's what we can say. That's what we can say and be 100% honest with you. It may ease some of the symptoms. It may prevent recurrence of future depression episodes. It may do all these things, but nobody is telling you, oh yeah, just start taking omega-3s and it'll pull you out of this depression you're in.
Exactly.
Nobody's telling you that, but you're right. That is what people try to, that's what people try to hold on to. They try to hold on to the belief that, oh, these are going to treat my depression episode. And there is zero data regarding mania and fish oil.
And I'm so glad that you said that, because so often we're like, oh, fish oil helps treat depression and bipolar disorder, so it's treating my bipolar disorder, but it's treating one symptom. In the light most favorable to everybody, it's treating mania is a huge deal. Let's stop pretending that doing absolutely nothing about mania is a good solution. So even with what little data we have and how uncertain that data is, although potentially exciting, it is potentially exciting, right? But there's not even a skosh. There's not even a hint, a whiff, nothing. And fish oil is very pungent. There's not even a whiff that it does anything for mania. So if you are only treating bipolar disorder with fish oil, you're leaving mania on the table, and mania is very destructive, as we've talked about for forever. One of the things is mood episodes, right? Let's get into bipolar disorder. We've got mood episodes, and there's a few studies out there that say that mood episodes may be less likely with omega-3 supplements, that people who are taking these supplements experience less mood episodes. Now, the first thing I want to say is I haven't been able to find a study that had more than 16 people in it. And I am excited about this knowledge. I am excited about this potential research. But Dr. Nicole, what's your opinion on a series of studies that looked at 16 people with bipolar disorder over 6 months and decided that they could draw any conclusions from that? I was just a little suspect to even bring this study up, but it is a prominent study, and I do want to address it.
That's the very reason that most of these studies use words like may show promise, may be beneficial, may have a positive effect on. That is why they're vague, because these researchers are fully aware of the fact that 16 people, 30 people, 25 people does not a robust research study make. I mean, they are very aware of that fact. So that's why you see such vagueness when you look at the conclusions and you look at what they're able to pull out of it. But I do think it's promising and it's exciting. And I really am hopeful that as we move into this next phase of the world, that we absolutely do start to look a little closer at some of these supplements and see what kind of roles they can play. But there's just so many outside variables in something like this. I'm a little hesitant that we're ever going to get like really great studies, but I do think it's promising.
I like all research into bipolar disorder, and anything that can help, I think is super powerful. So we're in line there, Dr. Nicole. Now, obviously, depression is a symptom of bipolar disorder. Mood episodes are a symptom of bipolar disorder. These next studies that were done is it suggests that omega-3 might lower the oxidative stress, with bipolar disorder. Now, that's a little above my head. I don't really consider stress to be a symptom of bipolar disorder, but I do acknowledge that when I am stressed, it can exacerbate bipolar disorder or just impact my mental health. So I'm curious as to your thoughts. Do you think that omega-3s can help manage stress? And because your stress is better managed, your symptoms of bipolar disorder are better? I sort of feel like we're getting into like bipolar adjacent territory, but nevertheless important because stress management does play a role in living well with bipolar disorder.
Okay, Gabe. I'm gonna try not to get too sciencey here, but to have this conversation about oxidative stress and antioxidants and all these things, we have to get a little sciencey. Okay, so
Okay. Just a little sciencey though.
just a
little sciencey.
little sciencey. So oxidative stress is going to be this imbalance between free radicals in your body and antioxidants. Okay. So a free radical is like a little unstable molecule running around wreaking havoc in your body. So you have these free radicals and they're out here just eating up stuff and just really raging against the machine that is your body. Okay. That is what's happening. Well, then you have antioxidants. So antioxidants neutralize those free radicals. They can balance them out. They can kind of bop them in the head, calm them down. But if you get to a place where you have more free radicals running around causing havoc, then you have antioxidants running around trying to clean stuff up. The imbalance is this oxidative stress. And so we know that when you have oxidative stress, you can have a variety of health things happen to you. So it's going to include aging faster, chronic inflammation. You're going to be at increased risk of certain diseases. So that's why everyone's always like, oh, we need antioxidants. We need antioxidants. We need antioxidants. So we also know that people who have bipolar disorder, there is data to suggest that they may have an increased amount of oxidative stress as compared to non-bipolar person in the world. And we think that omega-3s might lower that increase in that stress that we see in bipolar disorder. So it's very complicated. I mean, it's extremely complicated, but you could see how it's very difficult to really research these things. Again, one of those things we don't see a ton of numbers with as far as number of people in research studies. But there is some data to suggest that omega-3s might lower that increase in oxidative stress that we see in people who have bipolar disorder.
So just to make sure that I understand, what you're saying is that these omega-3s could help lower your stress. And if your stress is lower, the symptoms of bipolar disorder aren't impacted as much and your mental health is better. And therefore, ipso facto, if you take omega-3s, bipolar disorder is better because of this potential mechanism. And it's a maybe, it's an area of research. We're not 100% sure, but obviously I think most people can get on board with having less stress as a good thing, but how that impacts bipolar disorder goes into many complicated areas.
Yes, and it is important to remember that when these studies talk about oxidative stress, they are literally talking about stress on a cellular level. When you are talking about stress and bipolar disorder, you are talking about social stress, psychosocial stressors. But we do know that psychosocial stressors can contribute to the disruption of that balance we talk about and can lead to oxidative stress.
Thank you, Dr. Nicole. I'm glad that you went to medical school and none of us had to, right? We just got it from the podcast. Look at all the money that we saved. Now, interestingly enough, when it comes to omega-3s and fish oil helping with bipolar disorder, there's a couple of other studies that I do want to talk about, but I almost didn't want to bring them up because they just seem so far afield. Like, for example, it's true, it's an absolute fact, your brain needs omega-3 fatty acids. Obviously, bipolar disorder lives in your brain. So if you have a healthy brain, does that mean that you are living better with bipolar disorder? The people marketing fish oil and omega-3s as a supplemental treatment or a frontline treatment for bipolar disorder want you to believe that yes, those things are absolutely related. But are they?
I mean, we don't know. That's the whole point. We don't have enough to say that. It is a fact that omega-3 fatty acids play a huge role in brain health. I mean, nobody will argue with you and say, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about." I mean, like we know
Right,
this.
but having a healthy physical brain doesn't mean that bipolar
Doesn't
disorder
equate to
symptoms are
yes.
eased.
Yeah, no, having a healthy physical brain doesn't mean that you won't develop bipolar disorder in the first place. Having a physically healthy brain doesn't mean that you're going to have less episodes. There's a lot of external factors that go into this whole system that we still, I don't think, have a great grip on.
The other study that's out there that again, I question to bring up because even the people who reviewed the research were like, I don't know, this is a lot, but it's gotten a lot of traction, and it's that people with bipolar disorder have lower than average omega-3 levels just naturally. Now, even in the own study, it says there's some evidence of a link between low omega-3 levels and having bipolar disorder, according to the review of the research. However, the evidence isn't strong enough yet to say that there is a definitive connection. So even the research that's out there is like, I don't know that you should trust us. And yet people are like, aha, bipolar disorder is caused by low omega-3. I have personally seen those headlines, watched those videos where everybody's like, aha, we figured it out. People with bipolar disorder have low omega-3s. And then you trace it all the way back to the study and they're like, maybe it's something we're looking into. But yeah, even we're not sure. And then they released the study. I kind of think maybe they should have held on to the study a little bit. Like were you on a deadline? Like, what's up? You just told a whole bunch of people you're looking into something. You have no conclusions. You're pretty much not sure, but maybe. Like, what the hell, man?
Marketing 101, Gabe. Marketing 101.
It's
marketing 101. Like, this is what we do. And then the omega-3 companies say, oh, I'm going to use that in my ad to sell you all these omega-3s. I mean, this is where we are in the world, but this is also why you have to take this data and take it back to your prescribing physician and say, hey, what do you think about this data? You come to me and say, hey, I saw that there's a study that there's low omega-3 levels in people with bipolar disorder. And then I would say to you, yeah, I saw that too. There is some data to suggest that that may be true, but we really don't have enough information to say that it's true in enough people to be statistically significant. And we also don't have enough data to say that that low omega-3 is what's causing their bipolar disorder. That may be just a random finding. Who really knows? We don't know 100%. And you have to be careful with really big claims of, we found it, we found it, we found it. You have to be careful.
What we do know is that there doesn't seem to be any harm in taking omega-3s or fish oil in conjunction with a treatment plan. There are potential benefits that you may experience. We also know for a fact that if you buy it, a company will profit. And that gives them a reason to misinterpret the data for you. Here's the unvarnished truth. The data is unclear. It's uncertain. There are some things to be excited about. And I remember when I was in 6th grade science class, a teacher said, curiosity is the seed of science. Being curious about something is what makes you investigate. It what makes you research. It what makes you look into it. And it's fascinating and it's wonderful. But curiosity is not a conclusion. A hypothesis is not a conclusion. We do not have any conclusions about omega-3 and fish oil and the treatment of bipolar disorder. We have a lot of curiosity and we have a lot of hypotheses and we have a lot of interesting areas that the research is going to uncover a lot over the next several years.
We still have so much about the brain we don't know. I see it as the final frontier in medicine. I think we're going to find out things about the brain dead last because it is so complex and intricate with all its pathways.
So really the bottom line is this. If you want to try omega-3s, there's nothing wrong with that. Just do it in conjunction with your treatment team. Talk to your doctor, Nicole. Don't do this thing where you stop taking all your medicines cold turkey and go rogue. Nobody is thinking that's a good idea. Please hear us when we say that. But if you want to give it a try, do it. Just make sure that wherever you get your supplement, it's verified through a third party. It's a good, high quality supplement. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't point out that per the National Institute of Health, there are excellent dietary sources of omega-3s, and that includes salmon, mackerel, tuna, herring, sardines. I know, shocker, all fish. But you can also get omega-3 from chia seeds, flax seeds, walnuts, canola oil, soybean oil, There's a lot of fortified foods that have omega-3s in it, things like yogurt, milk, soy beverages, and even infant formula. So there are other ways to get omega-3s other than just taking a pill, obviously, in your natural diet. Dr. Nicole, thank you so much for spending time with me. Do you have any last words?
The only thing I would have to add, Gabe, is with all supplements, just do your research, talk about it with your team, and just be open to the idea that the supplement is just that. It is a supplement to your already well thought out treatment plan that was developed by you and your treatment team.
All right, everybody. With that, we have a whole bunch of favors to ask you. Wherever you downloaded this episode, please follow, subscribe to the show. It is absolutely free and you don't want to miss a thing. The next thing we need you to do is share this show. Share your favorite episodes on social media. Send somebody an email. Send somebody a text message. Hold up a sign on a street corner that says, "Listen to the Inside Bipolar podcast." Sharing the show with the people you know is how we're going to grow. My name is Gabe Howard, and I'm an award-winning public speaker who could be available for your next event. I can even bring Dr. Nicole if you want. It would be a lot of fun. We'll do a live podcast. It will be fantastic. I also wrote the book, Mental Illness is an Asshole and Other Observations, which you can get on Amazon, but don't buy it there. Head over to my website, gabehoward.com, and I will sign it and throw in some swag. You can also find me on all the socials at Ask a Bipolar.
And I'm Dr. Nicole Washington. You can find me on all social media platforms at Dr. Nicole Psych or on my website, drnicolepsych.com.
And we will see everybody next time on the Inside Bipolar podcast.
You've been listening to Inside Bipolar from Healthline Media and PsychCentral.com. Have feedback for the show? Email us at show@PsychCentral.com. Previous episodes can be found at PsychCentral.com/IBP or on your favorite podcast player. Thank you for listening.